Hello, my savvy done-for-you service providers pivoting to 10K months. I am so excited to be here. Happy Wednesday. I hope you're having a beautiful week and I hope you had a beautiful Mother's Day. I know it was a few days ago, but I got my flowers in the background. I'm not normally like a flowers girl, but those were fun to get. So let's dive in. Today we are talking about my biggest shifts from a done-for-you service provider to done with you and how that has supported me to create so much freedom, how I take a month off every year with my girls, and how I still make multi-six figures. So we will dive into that, and I'm really excited about that. And I'm rocking a scarf today. I'm not normally a scarf person. I don't know if I'm wearing it correctly, so if you are a scarf person, please let me know. Send me a DM. I don't know what I'm doing with this, but it was my friend's mother's scarf, so it has a lot of sentimental value. And I want to wear it, but if you have tips on how to do this, that would be super helpful. Also, fun housekeeping. I am opening one week-long coaching intensive. Well, I've opened two, but we have one left this month. So this is a week-long coaching intensive of one-to-one support. And these are just stupidly priced. Like, these are so low priced. And if you join live today, if you comment here or on the replay, I'll give you $100 off, or you'll be entered to win. $100 off, your chances of winning are pretty high because we don't have a ton of comments, but you'll be entered to win $100 off for that coaching intensive so that you can really move through whatever challenge, whatever stuck point you're in. These coaching intensives are set up exactly for that. So we can take these in multiple directions. Typically I'm working with people to figure out their high ticket offer, figure out how to repackage their services into something that their audience wants to pay a lot of money for. And that is done very intentionally. It's not just like copy paste someone else, whatever they're doing to make money. Like, this is something we get really super specific with the person, their skill set, who their audience is, what they're willing to pay for, all of that. We can also take it into direction if you already have a high ticket offer, but it's not selling, or you don't understand why it's not selling, or you don't know what's going on, or you don't know what you're missing. That's what we'll work on too. So we can look at messaging, making sure you're really speaking to your people, the problem that you solve. With done for you services, you can be pretty general with your messaging, but with a high ticket offer, it needs to be much more on point. So we can look at that. We can also look at your client journey. So with high ticket, you pretty much will probably have a protracted client journey. So we really want to set that up so that it nurtures people and it gives them an easy yes, and they feel super safe and secure working with you. So that's what these week-long coaching intensives are for. We can pick something and we go all in. So we start the week off with an hour session. You have unlimited email support during the week, and then we have a wrap-up 30-minute call at the end of the week. And that gives you everything you need to get unstuck, to move forward, to implement, so you can create momentum. And again, these are stupidly low priced already. And I do that intentionally because I know my audience kind of has a hard time giving themselves permission to get one-to-one support. And so I want to make it super accessible to you. A lot of times people think that, if they need to be at a certain point in their business to get one-to-one, or they need to be farther along, or they need to be making more money. And literally it's for anyone who is stuck and not making the money that they want, which is tons of business owners that I know. So if you've been on the fence or haven't been able to give yourself permission to get support, you're going to want to grab this last session in May for these week-long coaching sessions, because they're just such a stupid deal. I feel like you're crazy if you don't take me up on this, because you can move forward so much faster and just like unhook and unlock your results and get paid with high ticket clients. And it just takes a week of support. So those are amazing. And I love doing these. I offer 2 a month. So we have one left. We'll open up 2 more in June, and then those are going to be closed until September. So y'all, if you want to get in, go ahead and grab your week. I'll put the link below after this with the details, and feel free to DM me with questions. Is this the right fit for you? If you're here, please say hi, leave your comments. Again, you'll be entered to win that $100 off the week-long coaching intensive. So let's go ahead and dive in. Again, today we are talking about my biggest shifts from done for you to done with you, and how that has really helped me create so much freedom and still make multi-six figures. And this is not something I ever really thought possible. Like, I never even thought it would be possible to take a month off like I do in July with my daughters every single year. And it's just been so cool to see that, like, I'm already prepping for July right now. So that's kind of what prompted this. It does take preparation. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, like, I'm prepping for July now. We also have a really fun new thing I'm launching in July that I've never done before. So that has promo posts, that needs a landing page, a success page, it needs emails, it needs an automation, it needs all of that stuff. So I'm also coming up with that too, but it's going to support the shit out of you, and you're honestly probably going to be blown away because I've never done anything like this, and most coaches in my position do not. Like, this is just kind of wild. So I'll be really excited to tell you about that. And if you're on my email list, you will find out about it first. So keep your eyes peeled. I'm just pulling up in the group. I know we've had people hopping on, but again, say hi, leave your comments, leave your questions, because I want this to be supportive for you. So let's talk about this, and we're going to talk about the mindset first, because to me that is key. Like, you can have the best strategy in the world, but if your mindset isn't like on board with this, you're going to just hold yourself back and you're not going to be able to do it. So the mindset piece number one is pivoting from done for you to done with you. Like, that's key. That's kind of the crux of all of this. That's how I can take a month off, is because I'm not on the hook for client delivery all the fucking time. Like, let's just normalize that. As a bookkeeper with like 20 clients, like, I wouldn't really be able to do that. We have a lot of clients who need monthly sales tax. Like, they wouldn't really be okay just being like, okay, cool, don't do my books this month. Like, that just doesn't happen. And if you're a social media manager, maybe web designers could get away with it, I guess. Just, you know, you don't get any money that month, but you know, social media managers, VAs, OBMs, a lot of these people, like, yes, you can work while you're on vacation and while you're traveling, and that's great and amazing. Like, I see VAs who are working, you know, in their car during their kids' baseball practice, and like, that's great, but it's still not like that freedom that we started our business for. And as a bookkeeper, I couldn't do that. Like, I need to be sitting at my computer with my two screens. Like, you do not want me doing your bookkeeping if I'm not at my computer focused, because it's going to be shit. And so some of these other jobs, I guess you can do that in your car or on the go or on your phone, but bookkeeping isn't one of them. So, you know, bookkeeping isn't really set up for that, but I know some other done-for-you services are a little more flexible. But pretty much, if you're not pivoting to a high-ticket offer, you're on the hook for client delivery like all the time, or you're not getting paid. And let me be real, like, I don't get paid as much during July. I still make enough to cover my expenses and pay my team and have everything run, but I skip paying myself because it does take a dip. But it's not zero. Like, we still have everything running with the bookkeeping like a well-oiled machine, and that brings in a really good revenue stream for us. So, like, that's the first piece here, to just see that, like, the done-for-you services, yes, they do give you a lot of freedom, but they don't give you the true freedom to, like, take a month off. My opinion. So number two, and this is kind of the biggest thing, is like letting it be easy. I know so many people who just can't let themselves take the time off, or done-for-you providers who can't let themselves have more success. And this is where I see people be miserable in their business, because they think that it always needs to be more. They need more clients. They need more followers. They need to do ads. They need to pay a copywriter. They have to be on the hook for all of this stuff to grow, grow, grow. And really, when you're a done-with-you provider, you don't need all that shit. You don't need a big audience. You don't need like boatloads of clients. You don't need ads. Like, ads doesn't even make sense when you're a high-ticket person and you have a limited capacity. Like, it just doesn't make sense. And a copywriter, like, for me, doesn't make sense. Like, I know my people better than anyone. Like, no one can write content that speaks to my people like I can, because I'm on calls with people all day long. And so just seeing that, like, done-for-you service providers, we can get so wrapped up in needing it to be more, whereas when we kind of lean back and we become a high-ticket done-with-you service provider, we don't need all of that. So many done-for-you service providers feel stuck because it kind of feels unsafe to let things be good. This is why I love working with done-for-you service providers to pivot to high-ticket, because our brains want to fight us on this. So many of us have been taught that, you know, hard work is how you get, you know, the results that you want, or hustling, or doing more, or we live in this society that really sets us up that our worth and worthiness is directly attached to how much we do, how much we're working, how much we're getting done. And so it can feel really unsafe in our nervous system to just let things be good, to be like, I'm actually like, I did a post about this recently. I 3 times my revenue from bookkeeping with high ticket. I went from $79K a year with bookkeeping to $239K with high ticket, and I actually work less. And so that can be uncomfortable. And that's what I work with my clients on, is it can feel really uncomfortable to make like wild amounts of money not working more. And I know it sounds crazy and you're like, Jordan, I would love that. That would be so easy for me. And like, I see it over and over that this is something a lot of my clients bump up against. So I just had a client, she booked out 4 VIP spots, trying to do the math, 25, 5, 8. So she made about 10 grand with 4 clients, and that is all 100% profit for her. It adds such a value to her clients, and it's an easy lift for her, but she's bumping up against some stuff because it's like, that was the easiest 10 grand she's ever made, and it can feel really uncomfortable. It can feel like you're not doing enough. She's feeling like, I should be doing more. There's something I'm missing. The bottom's gonna fall out. It can be so fucking uncomfortable to just let things be good. And this is why I love working with done for you service providers, because yes, the strategy is important, but letting it be good is also important too. It's so easy for our brains to just want to like be on autopilot with what we've already done. And our brains are beautiful, amazing machines, but our brains are meant to keep us alive and to procreate and to save calories. And so if you're used to doing something a certain way and hustling and working really hard and getting up at 4 a.m. just to get it all done, your brain is going to have a hard time pivoting to something that feels so much easier and is like, is this okay? Am I missing something here? Am I worthy enough to charge these prices? So much stuff comes up, I can't even tell you. And I love doing this work because it's so important for my clients to understand that like things can be this good. And if you've been telling yourself a story for decades at this point, it is so hard to unhook from that. Like the Abraham Hicks thing, like a thought is a belief, or no, a belief is a thought we just keep having over and over. So our beliefs can be so ingrained in us. A big truck out there. Our beliefs can be so ingrained because we've had these thoughts over and over for years and years. Like I was in my bookkeeping business for 5 years before I pivoted to high ticket. And so there was a lot of shit that came up. I mean, I was charging like $500 a month was like my high ticket bookkeeping client. So to pivot and charge $1,500 a month was a huge jump, and I had to do a lot of work around that. And that's really what I am supporting my clients to do, and why they have such good results and why they make tens of thousands in new revenue is because they're not fighting it the whole way. So I see this a lot is when you're ready to make a change, you kind of have this thermostat setting. I think I'm pulling this from The Big Leap, Gay Hendricks books, but he talks about like basically a thermostat. So letting things be like really good bumps up against like your normal setting, kind of like the temperature in the air. So it's like your thermostat is set something. If it gets too hot, it'll bump on the air conditioning. If it gets too cold, it'll bump on the heat. And so what we do in our central nervous system and what we do like unconsciously is when we bump up against something that feels really good, we want to kind of like, you know, sabotage ourselves or do something to make it not feel so good that it gets back to that like level set where we were. So this is what I'm always working with clients on, like the one who's just had multiple 23K months at this point. It's like she's bumping up against it feeling really good, and the work now is to like alchemize that and like normalize it in her body and her central nervous system and see that it's really okay, it's safe, the bottom's not going to drop out, and helping her see that she has a process to replicate this over and over and over, because that's when people get really freaked out. It's kind of that feast or famine mode, and people are like, I can't recreate this. They feel so much pressure on themselves to do it again and again, and they're like, it was a fluke. How did I even do that? And it feels almost even more uncomfortable hitting some of those big months and milestones if you're like, I have no idea how I did it and I don't know how to keep doing it. So that's what I'm working on with her, is like seeing you do have a process, you know how to bring people in, you know how to convert them. Like that's as much safety as you can get and create in your business. Like there's a million things we cannot control, but if you can control that, like you are good. And so just helping her see that like she's safe, and while she's having these big months, seeing that like the bottom's not going to fall out. This is a repeatable thing. We have built this intentionally with her offer and strategically with the client journey, and like sustainably, so she can maintain this and it doesn't feel like this big feast or famine. So that's like so important with the work that I do with my clients, is like helping them let it be good and helping them see that like we've intentionally set it up like this so they can create these results over and over. So I'm here to support my clients to let things be good, to break free from holding back from what they want, helping them ask for what they want and go for it. Like the people who hire me are at a point where they're like, I know I'm meant for more. Like I felt that as a bookkeeper, and my clients feel that with their services. They're like, I know I'm meant for more. Like maybe I'm at $2,000, $4,000 a month. I know I have more to offer. I know I can make more. I can support my clients on a deeper level. They know they can help their clients build their business, or they can help their clients get better health and wellness results. Like they know that like they're just scratching the surface with what they're doing now, and they really want to go deeper and like support their clients even more, and they want to contribute to their family economy even more. Like they know that they're ready for 5K, 10K, 20K months because they know that they can do it. There's a stat that I just heard that was like, it was 10% of women-owned businesses get to six figures. So that means 90% of women-owned businesses do not get to six figures. So I'm working with the 10% who does get to six figures, who knows that they can get to six figures, that they have the goods, they have the drives, and they're fucking ready to do it. And so that's what I love to see with them, is that like, yes, we get to create this beautiful process and like things get to be that good. So I am all about strategy and building an offer and the messaging and the client journey and the follow-up process and speaking to objections and navigating sticky money conversations. Like I'm all about all of that. And we still need our mindset to be on board. And so you can have the best strategy, you can have the best offer. And if your mindset is in the toilet, it's going to be so much harder to create these great results because it feels so uncomfortable. So if your brain is fighting you and wanting to hold you back, like take a note, like just noticing that is like the first thing. Because if you don't, you'll probably end up self-sabotaging yourself or playing small or bringing yourself back down to that like level set of where your kind of thermostat setting was. I kind of talk about this with bank accounts. So some people, it's like your normal bank account is set at like $2,000. And then it gets to the point where it's like, well, of course it's $4,000. And now for me, it's like 10 grand minimum. I've had 10K plus months for like 36 months now. So we were more around 15, 18, 20K months. And that's just like my new normal. That's what I'm available for. It does not go beneath that. And so that is what you're like slowly acclimating yourself to and normalizing so that everything feels like, oh, it can actually be this good. Because a lot of times it can look so easy to do something on paper, but our brain wants to fight us in that. So it's not just about the strategy. I did a week-long coaching session with someone months ago about raising prices, and it seemed so simple on paper. We did the intensive, great. We went through everything like so strategically about it. And then like months later, she has still not done it because she's so fucking uncomfortable. Like that is just the exact like thing that makes me sad. Like we did this great work on an intensive, but she is still so scared and so uncomfortable to roll it out because she doesn't have me in her back pocket to be there with the mindset work that just has to go with the strategy. And so it's easy to see that like on paper, it's like, of course we need to raise these clients' prices to this. And of course we need to do this and make these changes. But the implementation piece is nothing if you don't have the mindset behind it to back it and to know that you're like, you trust yourself, you trust your results, you trust yourself to handle anything that comes up from these price increases. So that is something I am just like such an advocate for, and I want to speak to all of the time just to help people be aware, even if you aren't going to like solve the whole problem and self-coach yourself out of it, but to at least know that like, hey, this isn't just me. Like I'm not crazy. This feels wildly uncomfortable. And it's because it's our brain doing its human brain thing, and that's totally fine and totally normal. And you probably have a really smart brain if your brain is doing that because it's scanning the horizon, it's wanting to keep you safe. So what you need to do is figure out how you can be like, yes, brain, I hear you, I see you, thank you, appreciate the feedback, but I am safe. It's like feeling the fear and doing it anyway, and still knowing that you've got your back and that you can let things be really good. So I wrote a note. This is the key to getting everything you want. It's not the perfect strategy. It's not the best email funnel. It's not the, I don't know, all the bullshit marketing that I see out there. But it's really honestly being open to it being so good. And this is why I mentioned, last week I was in Nashville a couple weeks ago, and I just had this very like visceral moment of how good things are. Like when I was in Nashville 11 plus years ago, I was a nurse. I was living alone, just me and my dog. I'd walk around Centennial Park by myself. I had a few friends, but they were nurses. So we were always on different schedules. Like, it was good, but it was pretty lonely. And now just being back there, talking to my husband on the phone with my 3 kids and just being like, holy shit, like, I cannot believe how good it is. I am so grateful to previous Jordan who let it be good. And I even have on my screen, the backdrop of it, I have a picture of a cormorant. If you're a bird nerd like me, I love cormorants, but they can dive down into the water and hold their breath for 30 seconds to a minute. Like, these birds are amazing. But when they come up, they dry out their wings, they stand in the sunlight, they spread their wings. And I have a picture of that on my desktop background because that's just like my reminder to like open up my wings and like let it be so good and let in the good stuff. And just like part of my affirmations and things that I say to myself is like, how good am I willing to let it get? And that's something I invite my clients, that I invite you to do, is just keep asking every day, like, how good does this get? Like, what good is trying to come in? That's what my coach said to me. What good is trying to get in? How good can I let it get? Those are just great questions to keep asking yourself and coming back to if you're feeling tightness and restriction and, I don't know, the bottom's going to drop out and all this, and just seeing that, like, I literally could not have planned this as well as it has played out. And a lot of people who hire me do not have a clear path. Some of them do. Some of them have like, okay, I have this offer. We're going to back into our 10K months with this. And honestly, I've not seen them do any better than the people who are like, I don't know, I have a hodgepodge of $300 offers. I have no idea how the fuck I'm going to get to 10 grand with those. I've actually seen those people do better than the people who are like, this is my offer. This is how it's going to go. One client I worked with recently that had like the kind of slam dunk offer that was going to get her to 10K months, a couple months into our coaching, she was questioning whether she wanted to be a business owner at all. Like, months and weeks of work around, does she even want this business? And then my other clients who were like, I don't know, but like, I trust myself to figure it out. I trust myself that I know what I'm doing and I can figure it out. And those are the clients who have blown up those results. So just a reminder here, you don't have to have like the perfectly mapped out plan. Like, my life is better than I could have ever imagined. And I never could have backed into this and been like, well, in year 5, I'm going to pivot. And then in year 8, I'm going to be hitting 20K months. And then this is going to happen. Like, I couldn't have done that. I just was kind of along for the ride of like, ooh, what feels good? What do I like? What's resonating? Like, how good can I let it get? Like, ooh, wouldn't it be amazing to like take a month off? Like, holy shit, how can I make that happen? I can make that happen. Like, let's play with that. Like, it's asking these questions and just playing and giving yourself the freedom to like say what you want and go for it. I did a live stream either at the beginning of this year or at the end of last year about like giving yourself permission, because that is what so much of this is about, is giving yourself permission to let it be fucking good and like play with that. So I'm not going to hit that over the head too much, but it's just, I also get my own one-to-one support. We'll have my coach on here in a couple weeks, but I've been getting one-to-one support for a couple years, and it's mainly because of this. Like, my strategy's been the same for years, but my results have fucking blown up because I'm willing to do the work to let it be good, to let the clients in, to get on a call with someone and they just hire me. They find me on the internet, they hire me, or they have a protracted relationship where they finally get off the fence and hire me. Like, whatever that looks like, I'm here for it, because I'm just so willing to be like, yeah, of course I book clients so easily, and I fill out my roster, and I stay full, and I can take a month off, and it's all fucking good, and I let it be good. So that's the mindset piece. I will put in a button on that one for now. You get my point. So the strategy of this, going back to what we talked about first, is you've got to get off the hook for hourly work. That's just kind of the crux. So make your pivot to high ticket. I laid it all out in my 6-figure switch free training. We are still promoting that. You can still get access, to be sure to DM me if you want that, or it's probably linked in with some of the posts in this group. But this is also something we can work on your week-long coaching intensive. If you don't know what you bring to the table or what you could do to get to 10K months, like, this is the work that you need to do. It's not just, hey, what's that person on the internet doing to earn money? Or, hey, I'm a web designer. That web designer seemed to make money doing this, so I'm going to copy and paste what they're doing. Or that bookkeeper did this, so I'm going to just copy that. Like, it's 2024. That doesn't work anymore. Like, there are millions of people out there offering the same thing. So what we really need to do is get super focused on what you bring to the table, what your skills are. Look at your audience. What do they need? What do they want? What are they willing to pay top dollar for? Because that is the thing to create your done with you, your high ticket offer around. That is the nucleus of everything that makes everything so much easier. So that is the first step of the strategy. If you're not clear on that, or if you have a high ticket offer but it's not selling, maybe revisit that. Book an intensive we can see, or book a best fit call and we can talk about it. Like, is it the offer that needs tweaking, or is it something with the messaging, the client journey, your energy, how you're showing up, how you're navigating objections, all of that. So that's the first strategy piece. But the second strategy piece that I want to talk about and dive into is something I've been talking about with clients a lot recently. I'm doing it myself, obviously. Hi, Penny. She's so sweet. But it's what we're working on now, and what I've been talking to clients now for weeks is really saying, like, what are you selling this summer? So it's what I'm asking, like, every client on their call. What are you selling? When are we promoting it? How is that happening? Because this is just something we are mapping out now. Like, I'll tell you, in my own business, like, pretty much do like a 2-week on, 2-week off kind of flip, so that I'm like promoting one thing and then flipping to another. And then we have that going until July, and then we'll launch our new thing that I'm so excited to tell you about, but can't yet. But that'll be rolling out then. And so I know halfway through July, we'll be promoting that. Everything points there. So this is so basic, but it's something you need to be clear on. Like, right now, it is May 15th. My kids get out in June. Your kids might be getting out sooner, but do this like now. Figure out what you're selling. Again, this is like 101. You're like, Jordan, this is so basic. But know for the next like 3 months what you're selling. What is your focus? You want one focus. You want to point people to one thing. It makes everything easier. It makes your messaging easier. You know which sales promos are going out. You know what links to share. You know what you're sharing in your emails. Like, everything points to these things. Some of my clients, it's 2 weeks on and they flip and do 2 weeks here and there. Some, it's just like a whole month. Like, this month is pointing to this thing. Whatever that is for you, figure it out so that you can map that out now. So all your content, all your emails, everything is just like, we're all pointing to the same thing, and it makes it so much easier. And this is key, because I see so many people leaving so much money on the table because they're like jumping around and they don't have a clear focus for people to buy from them. Because confused buyers don't buy. Like, I recently connected with someone on the internet. I really like her. I went to look at her offers. She had like 20 freebie items listed, and I was just like, whoa, I don't even know where to start. My brain shut down. I clicked and X'd out of it. Like, there's no fucking way I'm scrolling through 20 different freebies to figure out which one's for me. Like, you got to sell me on one freebie, on one opt-in. Like, that is what I work with my clients to do, is to take one funnel to 6 and multi-6 figures, because that is the easiest, that is the fastest, most simple way. If you are a parent like me, you don't have time to waste. You need things to be clear for you as the business owner, what you're selling, what you're guiding people through, and as the buyer. Like, I don't have time to look through a bunch of shit. Like, I'm a mom. I have limited hours. I have limited capacity. Like, if you want me to do something, you need to make it very clear for me. Like, my daughter Marie is going to do the team next year with her, it's not gymnastics, it's acro arts, but it came with this packet of what the team schedule is. And yesterday the coach was like, so are you not going to do like the extra May schedule? And I was like, what? And she like screenshotted me the May schedule, and I was like, yeah, I need you to break it down for me. Like, I need it to be simple. I need it to be clear. I don't need to like scroll through 4 pages of stuff. And so this is what you need to think about for your clients. They are busy. Maybe they're moms, maybe they're not, but think about them on the internet, the amount of information they're bombarded with, whether they're looking at your stuff in Facebook groups, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's in their email. Like, you've got like 2 seconds to point them in the direction and get them to do what you want them to do. And this isn't saying like a sleazy, like, tell them what to do or, you know, anything like that. But it's like, we are trying to make their lives easy. Like, we know we can solve their problem. Let's just lay it out for them and make it so easy for them. So you having like 20 different opt-ins or 30 different offers that are all under $300, like, that is helping no one. It's not helping you. It's not helping them. So make sure your whole client journey, your funnel, is pointing to one thing. So we have like a free call, we have an intensive, and we have high ticket. And like, basically everything is pointing to the high ticket. All roads lead to that. And it makes it so much more simple. And that's basically like, whatever business you're in, that's what you're doing. Especially with high ticket, it's probably a protracted relationship, but people are cold. They're landing on your stuff, and then they're opting in, you know, to your freebie or to your live training or your audit or whatever it is. Like, they're building the relationship and deepening it with you. And so give them an easy next step. Like, the business owner I'm talking about, it was on like a Facebook group, and she's like, here's my freebie offers, and you go to it and it's just like, and it's like, don't be that person. Like, no shame. She's got tons of ideas. They're all amazing. She's a beautiful, smart person, and I love her. And it's just so overwhelming for someone to be on the other end, seeing what I don't even know what to do. And your results get so much better because your buyers aren't confused. Like, when I bought these glasses, I went into Warby Parker and I'm just like, give me like 5 options. Like, there's like all these walls of all these different options. And I'm just asking the lady like 5 different options. What should I choose from? Because I can't handle all of this. And the same thing with bathing suits. I need to find a new bathing suit. But there are so many out there. I just need to like go into a store with a limited selection and be like, okay, I'm choosing one from this because my brain can't handle more of that. So let's just make it simple for someone that when they land on your work, they know the one next step to take. The one. Don't make it harder than it needs to be. This gets to be so easy for you as the business owner. It makes what you're doing this summer and what you're pointing people to and leading people to so much more simple for your brain, because it's just a simple process. And it makes it so much easier on the buyer side, is because they know the next step to take. They know the way to deepen the relationship with you, and it's not like playing, 20 questions and trying to figure it out themselves. So this is some of the most basic fundamental work. When someone hires me and we start working together, it's basically like, what are you selling? What are we pointing people to? Like, that is the kind of fundamental thing that I want to know that we start with. And yes, it is so basic, but some people just literally don't know this. They don't know, like, well, I'm kind of selling these web design services, but I'm also kind of selling my course, and these things have nothing to do with each other, but I'm just kind of selling both of them. And guess what? Not doing either of them well, diluted focus equals diluted results. So that plays into this as well. But it's slowing down your results, and it's preventing people from hiring you because they're so fucking confused and they don't have time to connect the dots themselves, and they need you to put it together. So let's wrap up. Don't see any questions or comments yet, so let me know if you have some. If you're watching the replay, be sure to get them answered. So many done-for-you service providers like can't pivot to 10K plus months because their brains fight them on letting it be this good. Like, their brain is probably telling them like, you're going to have to be sleazy. You're going to have to work more. You're going to have to be like that gross person sending DMs like, hey, how long have you been a business owner? Like, faking fake friendship, doing a bait and switch. Someone feels gross. Like, your brain may be telling you all this stuff, and that is just not what I have seen to be true. I feel like I sell in a very aligned, heartfelt way. People, when they're on calls with me, like they feel that. They feel genuinely listened to. Like your brain doesn't have to tell you that you need to turn into some slimy, gross salesperson, because you don't. But your brain is telling you that to keep you safe. So you can only get as much good in your life as you're available for. So make sure you're letting in the good stuff. Make sure you're journaling, doing the mindset work to really let yourself be like, I'm worthy of things being good without me having to get up at 4 a.m. or me work my ass off and work till midnight. Like things can be good and feel really easeful just because I'm worth it as a human being. So that can kind of go into more mindset stuff. So if you need some support with that, be sure to book a best fit call, because we can dive into that stuff and kind of like unravel it right away so that you can at least see your patterns and get some clarity around that. So this is why getting support and having me in your back pocket is key. It's to help see where you're holding back, where you're playing small. One of my clients, we were talking about increasing prices, and she was like, I don't know. And I was like, you probably just can't even say it out loud. And later she messaged me and was like, you're right. I couldn't even say it out loud. Like I've never let my brain go there of what I actually wanted. It felt super uncomfortable even to say the words, but it was kind of just like opening this can of worms of like, what do you really want? And you literally can't create what you want if you can't admit it to yourself. So that's the mindset piece around like doing the work to let it be so good. So the strategy pieces, number one is getting off the hook for all the done for you work and client deliverables that you have to do as a done for you service provider, where you're constantly on the hook. So again, I've got an intensive open this month if you want to work together to figure out what does that offer look like what's the higher ticket, work that is really going to support you to enjoy your work more. I mean, we only get one chance at this life. This is our one life. So if you're spending it in front of your computer doing shit that you don't like what a waste. Like it's such a waste. Like pivot and do something that really lights you up. If you're like, this is the tip of the iceberg with my clients, but I see so much potential to go so much deeper, like do it. Don't waste time. We have such limited precious time, and I can support you on an intensive to do that. And that is such a good thing to use these week-long intensives for, because we can figure that shit out, and then you can start offering it and building momentum, because you've got to have the offer first. That is the nucleus. And then the number two thing here, if you're wanting to create lots of freedom in your business and you're wanting to create time off in 10K months and multi-six figures with lots of freedom, you need to know what you're selling this summer. What are you leading people to? What are all roads pointing to? What is all of your messaging around? What are all of your sales promos around? What are your emails pointing people to? Like, what is that next step you want someone to take? Because your messaging is going to be all around that, and it makes setting up your summer so much easier when you're not trying to figure this out like 2 days in advance. And you're not confusing your buyers because they have like a million different options or offers. And this is why I'm offering my week-long coaching intensives. You can literally take one funnel to 6 figures. And so what we can do in the intensive is figure out where is that kink in the hose, where is the problem that we need to solve, and we can solve for that in 1 week with unlimited coaching support. So again, I invite you, book a best fit call. I'll put the link here below with all the details of it. Totally available for questions. We can hop on a call. And if you're just like, I don't know if this is the right fit, at least you'll have clarity around that. I don't want to sound like a jerk, but I care if you book an intensive or not, but I don't care. I want it to be the right fit for you. If it's not the right fit for you, that's totally fine. At least the best fit call will give you clarity around what is a good fit and what is your next step. Because whether it's me or someone else or whatever, I just want you to have that I just want you to have that clarity so that you can move forward faster, whatever it is. Literally, whether it's with me or not, I want your business to succeed. I want you to be in that 10% of women business owners who scale to 6 figures. And I know that getting this intensive is going to be part of it if it's the right fit. So again, I'll put the details below. I'll be back next week, and I can't wait to hear your feedback on this and get your takeaways and ahas, and let me know your plans for the summer. Do you have some fun travel plans? Are you taking some time off? Be sure to share that here, because I want to celebrate you, and I'm excited for you. But have a great rest of your day and your week. I got a client call in a minute, so I'm going to hop off, but I'll see you next week. Bye.